hopefully we're live right now. Josh didn't create a thumbnail for this, so we don't know. I'm just giving him a hard time. He's in the middle of a hectic move, so we'll cut him some slack. We appreciate everybody who's going to hopefully join us here this evening. We got some good Browns, well, I guess some sad Browns news to talk about, and then just some current event stuff to get into. So it's going to be a good one. We got some voicemails. We always love getting your guys' voicemails. If you want to get thoughts and intros and voicemails onto the show, head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail. We love hearing from you guys, especially in the offseason. Gives us a lot of stuff to talk about throughout the episodes. We want to hear your thoughts on, upcoming free agency and draft and all that good stuff. So again, that's thedogspodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. You can also listen to the show on Apple and Spotify. You can find us on any of the social media platforms. Just search at the Dogs Podcast. And lastly, if you're looking for more dogs content, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page, get access to the private Discord, play fantasy football with us once that time rolls around again, and just talk football, games, whatever you can think of, pretty much 24/7, 365. And we've got a lot of members in there now, and it's a good mix of men, women, young kids, older people. I don't want to make them feel bad by calling them older than us. You know what I mean? I think we got people in there all the way from probably age 19 to 65. So if you're looking for a Browns community that you can really kind of just jump in, once you join, it's like you've been there forever. You just jump in, start talking Browns, welcome you with open arms. It's a great time. Everybody loves it. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, you want to be able to talk Browns football in pretty much all sports, especially Cleveland sports, Ohio State, pretty much 24/7, 365. Head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. So the first thing I want to kind of talk about tonight, obviously, we had the DC hire since the last time I've been on. I know Josh has put out some stuff, but since the last time that we've all been on here, we've hired the DC and all that good stuff. But I think the most current thing and maybe the most heartbreaking thing, at least from our perspective, a fan favorite of the show, and I think of a lot of Browns fans, is Wyatt Teller coming out on his Instagram and saying that, essentially, he wishes it wasn't going this way, but he's not going to be back in Cleveland next year. I know his wife is torn up about it. We're all huge fans of the Tellers, Wyatt and Carly. They've really they were our version of Kylie and Jason, maybe not quite as famous nationally, but at least in Cleveland, they were kind of Cleveland's, couple. And we just love what Wyatt did for the football team ever since we traded for him. And it's just kind of sad to see it end this way. I think the writing was on the wall, the splitting time. And I think Wyatt would tell you, I think he knows that he wasn't necessarily playing up to the same standard he had set for himself. It just sucks though, because he's been a fan favorite basically since we traded for him. But we traded for him as a question mark. Can this guy step in and be the starting guard for us? We don't know what we're getting out of him. He didn't really play much in Buffalo from what I remember. And just from day one, we were holy crap, who's this Wyatt Teller guy? Just mauling people, just opening up semi-truck sized holes on the right side of the line. Since day one, it went from can this guy be the guy to, is this guy our best offensive lineman on the line that has Joel Bitonio? So this sucks to see Wyatt go. It's one of those things where I hope wherever he does go, in 5 to 6 years or whatever it is when he retires, I hope they keep their house in Cleveland. I hope we see a lot of Wyatt around the Browns once he retires. And it's just kind of Cleveland's their home now. So that's kind of what I'm hoping, because I'm sad to see him go.
No, I'm with you, man. Like you said, writing's been on the wall for kind of 2 seasons now. He's been one of those names that kind of get fluttered around when it's, trade deadline, that kind of time. Like you said, we're huge fans. They sent us a Christmas card when we were just a young, probably didn't have 100 subscribers podcast. I got to meet him, got a picture with him. It's still in my man cave over there. Just really, really awesome guy. Just unfortunately a sign of the team. We're going young and we're going cheap, and you see David Njoku, you see Wyatt Teller now, and potentially Joel Bitonio also. So it's tough. It's almost like the end of an era that we knew was coming, and now we're just kind of really dealing with it.
I mean, if you think like if you kind of look back, like you're saying, end of an era. And before I get off on this, you
Yeah.
mentioned pictures in your man cave. I just want to shout
Yes.
out fatter me over your right shoulder.
He's, yeah, it's always a remember, something to always keep you inspired, bro.
Yeah,
I do it for
every
you.
time I'm thinking about having that piece of cake, I look over
Yes.
Justin's right shoulder and think,
Yes.
maybe I won't have that piece of cake
No.
actually.
Yeah. Or just half. Just half
Yeah,
of it.
maybe I'll have it. But anyways, I
Okay.
just I saw that and it made me laugh.
Yep.
When you're saying end of an era, it really is like you kind of have like the Baker, Jarvis, Chubb, Chief, Wyatt Teller, Joel Bitonio, and now it's like Baker's gone. Obviously, Jarvis has been gone. Chief is now gone. Chubb's gone. It's like and I know like it ended with 2 years of disappointment, but if we really like take a step back, it honest to God, and that's just speaks to the history of the Browns the last 30 years. It was the most successful 5-year period that any of us, the three of us have had in our lives for the Browns.
I think. Go ahead, bro. My
I
fault.
just like I'd never seen the Browns, I take that back. Like adult me has never even seen the Browns sniff the playoffs. And we went there twice with this group. So it really, I mean, sadly, because we have to define this as an era because we made the playoffs twice, and even though we had 3 losing seasons or 4 losing seasons, it was the best 6-year span of my adult life for the Browns, and to see all these guys now leaving, it does kind of suck.
It sucks when they're leaving and they want to be here, though. They've expressed that desire to be in Cleveland. Chief was big into, at the trade deadline, these were the 2 guys that were, the headline of a lot of trade talk. Will they trade Teller? Will they trade Njoku? And then when they were getting asked about it in the locker room, they're saying, I hope they don't trade me. I want to be here and all this stuff. And it sucks. But when those contracts expire and you're older and we need to go young and cheap, it's just the way it goes.
It does suck. But another kind of obviously sad player news to come out this week. I don't think any of us thought JOK would play again, but there was that slight glimmer of hope. You heard kind of rumblings out of the corners of the internet. Maybe he'd be able to come back and play this year. Reports now saying like he's most likely not playing football anymore. Obviously, we're just happy he's okay. Like as a person and not just speaking to him as a football player, but it still sucks because to think about if you could have added a healthy JOK to this defense with Carson and Miles and like, man, what could that linebacker in Devin Bush? If we bring back Devin Bush, like what could that linebacker group have looked like with those guys? You have Devin Bush and Carson flying around, JOK a little undersized, but playmaker just free to just run around and make plays. Like the possibilities with what could have been had he not been injured. Now, I guess like the catch-22 to that is if he doesn't get injured, do we draft Carson Schweschinger? I don't know, because would they have considered linebacker as much of a need to go that high? But it just sucks for him. Football's his entire life, and a freak play, ends his career. So it sucks for him. Sucks for us as Browns fans who loved watching him play. It's just kind of a sad thing, but at least like he's okay as far as I know. He's not paralyzed or anything like that. Like as far as I know, he's gonna be able to live a normal life, just not playing football, which I know is probably killer. But I guess if you keep things in perspective, it's good news.
Yep. You got it right. You got it right, man. Just health is the most important thing. A guy that we love watching play. Him and Grant Delpit, like pre-snap, just watching the things that they used to do, come up and just always on the move, and just I used to love watching just those 2 pre-snap. It's it's tough and promising like career start, and then just to have it end like that. But most important thing is he has his health. He'll have the rest of his life, and he's going to be beloved by Cleveland fans. He just in a short period of time, just what he did in Cleveland, people will always remember that guy.
It's crazy because what he was coming off of doing. I mean, he's still only 26 years old, and he hasn't played in over a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And he's so young still, and he was already on a trajectory where you could see this guy's easily going to be an all-pro several years in the future, like multiple times over. It's going to happen. He was just so good, and the TFL, like his ability to get behind the line and get guys down on the ground was insane. And if you remember, like that wild card game in Houston, he was the only guy who came to play in that game, and he freaking came to play. So fun to watch. Everybody else sucked, but he was there.
Yep, it sucks. But like we said, we're at least happy he's physically going to be able to, live a normal life. Now we got to move on. It's kind of always like weird. How do you transition off of talking about somebody whose career ended to like, well, let's stay upbeat and talk about our new defensive coordinator hire. But so we'll move on. Obviously, this news is about a week and a half, 2 weeks old now, though, but we do finally have a defensive coordinator. I wanted to have a chance for us to all three kind of talk about it. How do you guys feel about the hire? Obviously, it's Rutenberg. It's Mike, right? I'm not just okay. I want to make sure we're live. I should know the name.
Got it. Nailed it, brother.
It's been a long day for me too. A long weekend. Passing game coordinator from the Falcons. They had a good defense. Kind of poached a guy away from Kevin Stefanski. He was on their defensive staff. How do we feel about the hire? Or are we liking it? Are you guys? I guess I should say this. Are you happy, which we already kind of talked about, are we happy that we went outside and weren't able to retain Jim Schwartz?
Yep. I honestly, when they announced the hire, I really didn't know too much about it, just about him, other than like what we had skimmed on, for leading up to it, those 3 days, 4 days when they kind of threw his name out there. From everything I've heard, man, like kind of highly regarded, like smart guy. Falcons fans, guys in the Discord are saying Falcons fans are kind of freaking out, like, hey, they got a good one, in Rutenberg. But, he was a linebacker coach for 4 years with the Jets. They were, I want to say, top 5 all of those years as far as total defense. So he's coming with 16 years of, like, credibility in the NFL with, what he's doing. I'm excited. I know we had talked last week about, who would be taking that spot. The thing that I really, really like is all the guys that kind of showed out on that defense as far as the coaching staff all pretty much got promoted and, got more responsibility. So, he's kind of already saying, hey, leaning on these young guys that excelled and seeing what all they can do. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, from what I understand is like the front of the defense really isn't going to be changed too much with what he does schematically. It's more so the back end. It's the secondary where people that I've been listening to are very excited to see what he can do as far as adding wrinkles in coverages and disguising things and that kind of stuff and what he can do out of that secondary. So, he gets his hands on guys like Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell. We're going to have to add to that group because we're very thin. If you take the starters away, and the depth is non-existent yet, but the top guys are really good. And I'd like to, because that's the secondary. How many times do we complain about our defense over the last couple of years? Like just guys getting burnt or, this, that, or the other. So it would be nice to be able to marry that back end and what he can do really well with what our front, 7 already do really well.
How do we think, is Martin Emerson playing?
That's what I was. Yeah. Last I heard.
Agent.
Yep.
And it was Achilles, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, even if he's back this year it almost is like a wash. It almost takes 2 full years. Like, how many times do you see where, yes, they can play, but they're definitely not the same. And if it's not 2 full years, it's like the first 2 months before you really see him like back, athletically where he was before the injury. That sucks because like we all think Martin Emerson's a pretty solid corner. Obviously it's a little bit of a second year slump, but I think like we still think he's pretty solid. I'm excited to see what we do. I'm excited to see how like you were talking about with disguising things. I think we have a couple nice pieces in the back end, like Campbell and Ward, and I'm excited to see what he can do with a guy like Delpit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like Delpit is a guy that, he's a kind of a chess piece. He the way he blitzes, and can like plays kind of just like in the back, just roams free, makes plays. I'm excited to see what he can do with Grant Delpit.
Atlanta's secondary was really good last year. I mean, you think about even their rookie, 3rd-round rookie, Xavier Watts, led all rookies with like 5 interceptions. I mean, so I think there's definitely some upside to what Rutenberg can come in here and do with these guys.
Are we? Was it the one thing I saw was their run defense wasn't great. I am curious. That's one thing the Browns got to shore up. It's the run defense in between the tackles. It seemed like there were times last year where we just got absolutely bullied up front, especially once Collins went out.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, the freaking Titans, we couldn't stop Tony Pollard, So I'm just excited to see how these change. I can't wait for the season.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I just am excited to see what pieces we add. So I guess I'm excited for the draft and free agency, but really, like, I'm at least excited to see camp and just like how they're using these pieces. I'll be honest, though, I don't know if I 100% trust camp because I feel like the last couple of years, a lot of Cleveland media has told us things, and then we get to the games, and it's like, what the hell were you guys talking about? Like Deshaun, all I heard out of every Cleveland media member was how this guy is just a freak, throws the ball better than any quarterback we've ever had. He's clearly the most talented quarterback we ever had. And then I watched him step on the field and just dirt it like 8 times out of 10. And I'm like, what is going on?
Justin, do you remember that Cowboys game, dude? That's the year you're talking about going into 2024. Justin and I go up to the week 1 opener for the Dallas Cowboys, that afternoon game. We were having a ball. The first snap of the game is like, oh my gosh, I think we're going to suck.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did that. I'm pretty sure we looked at each other and we were like, dang, that was terrible. Wrecked. And then it was like that for about 4 hours or so, except when Dallas would come in on offense and just absolutely torch us on that side. So it was a great time. Great, best time of my life.
What's really crazy about, I remember being like, well, Dallas is really good, so we got caught off guard by a really, really, really good, and then they won like 3 games. Yeah. They were terrible. So, I don't even know if I trust like media in camp. What is it? It's February 22nd. Wake me up when it's, like September 10th or whatever the first game is.
There's like certain Cleveland media, like Zach Jackson, I find, at least definitely from last year, because he was the main person saying like Dylan Gabriel's not it, guys. He's not it. And then you get the mouthpiece people from, and then you get the other mouthpiece people from the organization. They're like, oh yeah, Dylan Gabriel looks great out here. Come on.
No, yeah, it's so hard to try. I feel like they're overly critical about some things, and then they just are laughably wrong about other things. It's like, don't you guys get to be there? Let us be there. I'll come watch and tell the truth. But I'm just excited to see the pieces we can add to this team, and then see what the new coaching staff can do. Because despite like what my thoughts were on should we not get rid of the previous coaching staff, I'm extremely excited to see what the new staff can do with the team. Like I'm really excited for Todd Monken and everybody that we've added to the coaching staff. So I'm just ready for the season. I hate all this like hypothetical guesswork. Will they want? I just want to see it. It's going to be a long 6 months.
It is, because they got a lot of work to do. The new league year starts, March 12th, I think?
I think so.
Free agency and everything, and we're going to see what they do. Justin and I were talking about a little bit of free agency stuff before you got in here, Blake, about the offensive line and all that. And I guess we can transition a little bit here, but have you seen where they've been linking the Browns to that Rasheed Walker, the left tackle from the Green Bay Packers?
I have, and at first I was like, oh, he's the best rated left tackle or something on the market. That's good. And then I saw your post about how he's like graded out basically like
Cam Robinson.
Who was Cam Robinson. And I was like, wait a second. Is this true? I haven't got to verify this, but is he really bad like that? And I guess it is one of those things where like left tackles don't grow on trees. So if he is really, 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 really good, you would think they would keep him.
Correct. Yes.
Unless they have some like up and comer behind him who's
they do.
way cheaper.
They do.
Okay.
They do. But
so I guess then it makes more sense, I guess. But you would think then maybe they would have traded him,
Sure.
not just let him walk for free if he's really this good. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, we shouldn't go get him, or I don't know. I don't freaking know the guy. I haven't sat here and breaking down Green Bay Packers film to tell you if he's good or not. It would be hard for me to believe he's worse than what we put out there the last 2 or 3 years. But at the same time, I don't want to sink a ton of money into somebody who's marginally better.
That's my point.
Yes, if we're going to put a ton of money into him, then I'm fine giving him the bag if we're getting Trent Williams, and obviously he's kind of like 101, but if we're getting a top 10, top 15 left tackle, give him 20 million a year. That I'm perfectly fine with that. But if we're getting a guy who's just barely better than Cam Robinson, then we're already wasting money in enough places. We already have enough. We're paying people who can't play already. We don't need to give a guy who's not going to be that big of an upgrade, $20 million a year.
Yeah, Jake Burns pointed this out on X, and he said, "Oh, interesting. Rasheed Walker was the run Jordan run guy whenever the Browns played the Packers. You remember Myles Garrett sitting on the sideline telling his buddies and teammates, like, yeah, he's out there yelling, 'Run, Jordan, run!'" Well, that was Rasheed Walker.
Oh.
I understand it's Myles Garrett.
I was going to say that's also fair
but
too.
it's still not the best look. See, for me, I'd almost rather, like, if you're going to dump a ton of money right away into alignment, I'd rather do Tyler Linderbaum.
Yes.
If you get that, because I think he's actually worth that at the center position. Now, I know it's not a tackle, but still think how important your center is, especially for young quarterbacks at the line, calling out things and evaluating what the defense is doing pre-snap and all that kind of stuff. Plus, how important is the center to your run game? And that's what this offense wants to do. Todd Monken, everybody he's brought in here, it's so focused on establishing the run, fixing the run game, being a dominant run team. Well, get yourself a damn good dominant center then, and get your tackles in the draft. That would be my approach.
I guess I'll say this. It's scary to think you're going to start 2 rookie tackles.
Well, okay.
You could be.
I would say definitely get one maybe in the first round and then see how the rest of the draft goes. I think there's some decent tackles, though, second round that can be had this year. And there's some other guys in free agency. It's not just Rasheed Walker.
Right.
No, I go ahead, Justin.
All I'm saying with like the offensive line is you cannot run it back. You cannot take if they do this and they say, hey, we trust the young guys, we trust Zinter and Whippler. And, some of this, Tevin Jenkins, I think, is a nice piece that absolutely we can move forward with. But
he's a free agent, dude.
Oh, well, we might not be bringing him back
contract
anyway. Well, so here's the thing is you're trusting a lot on a bunch of guys that, first off, are not proven, and what we've seen from him hasn't been that great. Whippler, maybe not as much. He was okay. But I think you're putting a lot of trust into a line that couldn't stay healthy. And then you're doing it. It's the same shit again. We're doing the same thing that we've done the last 2 years. By week 4, I'm telling you, we're going to be seeing JT Levinson or Levington. And, and just a combination of just basically practice squad guys again. I understand, we have a ton of holes on this team, but I don't know if you can do that. You cannot run it back like that. It's the root of all of our issues.
I said this last year going in. I was like, you can't count on Dwan Jones to be your tackle. Then we counted on Dwan Jones to be a tackle, and that lasted not very long. And it was.
I think Conklin.
Yeah,
how's that working out? That's free agent, but
I guess what's the story on Conklin?
They have to void. They're going to void his contract as soon as the new league year starts.
All right, so he's gone.
He's gone.
Yes.
Okay, so it's. I mean. There's going to be 5 new linemen.
Yes.
Potentially.
That's kind of insane.
There should be. Like we were saying, if you're Dwan Jones is going to be one of your starting tackles, I just think you're setting yourself up for failure, at least at that position right away. I love Dwan Jones, but he cannot be a starter for this team.
It's one of those things where, like, your swing tackle, you just have him ready to start, because he's going to be in there. And I think it was Burns put out on, I saw him on X. He was like, this kind of like love affair that Browns fans have with Dwan Jones from his rookie season. Even when healthy in the last 2 years, which hasn't been a ton, it's not been good play.
Yeah.
Like he was a pretty good pass blocker his rookie year, and he was a rookie, 5th round rookie or 4th round rookie? I can't remember exactly which one.
4th.
4th or 5th. And he was forced in the first game, and he did like an amicable job. And, he owned TJ Watt. We were all excited about that.
Yep.
But his run blocking grade his rookie year was not good. It was pretty bad. And then he went into year 2, overweight, a lot of it coming off injury again, can't work out. He's already a big dude. play was not where it needed to be. Injured again. I have below the basement expectations for Dwan Jones, if we're being honest.
Me too.
So, and this is one of those things where like my brain doesn't know what to do about this upcoming Browns season, because when I hear people say, just accept the fact that we're going to suck for this year and probably the year after. And I'm like, well, no, I always want to like to be a smart ass and be like, I thought our problem was coaching. We should be good now. But then, I don't say that, and I'll push back and be like, well, on paper, we have the easiest schedule in the league. We have Fannin, we have Judkins. Add a couple linemen, get yourself 2 wide receivers, and we can at least be competitive, 8 wins. And then I stop and think like, well, has it ever been done where you've replaced all 5 starting linemen? And then on top of that, both your starting wide receivers? Like,
And your starting tight end. Well,
and
one of
your
them.
running backs coming off a season-ending injury.
yeah. So so it's like my right brain and my left brain just like don't know how to handle this, because like part of me says, no, the Browns should be able to compete. And maybe that's just like the optimistic Browns fan in me, this is our year. And then like the logical side of me is like, no, they're going to be awful. Like we should have 0 expectations for this team this year. So I just don't know. I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to think. We've never seen Todd Monken be an NFL head coach before. A lot of these we're excited about the staff, but a lot of them they're in promoted roles. They've never done that. So it's like, we're going to be an extremely young offensive team even though Monken is an old coach and an extremely green coaching staff in terms of they're all doing roles for the first time, at least. So it's like, what are expectations for this team? I don't know. If I was a computer, I'd probably malfunction and just break down. Smoke would start coming out of my ears.
Justin, you mentioned Luke Whippler a little bit ago. It went through my head and I forgot to say it, but he got carted off week 18 at that Bengals game. So I don't really know exactly the extent of his injury and the recovery timeline, but he might not even be ready for the start of the season. I mean, we have, like you said, Zinter. He was inactive most of the year because
and when we saw him, it was bad. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that. Like, didn't touch anybody, fell over a lot. Like, and I'm not talking shit. I'm just that's what was put on film. That was what the film showed. It was. Yeesh. We used to say, man, Callahan, what happened? What the hell happened here? I don't know. It's not great. The depth is really bad.
Adam says, how good do we really need to be to take the AFC North after this coaching change around the division? I understand that argument. What I will say then is, roster for roster, we're probably, at least on one side of the ball as it sits today, we're still the worst roster in the division. Our defensive roster is solid, but as good as our defensive roster is, that's how bad our offensive roster is. I mean, we currently don't have a starting offensive lineman on the team. At least that we're not projecting. That's wild. Jerry Jeudy is still on the team, but none of us think he's a wide receiver 1. Yeah. He should probably be your. I mean, if you're a really good team, Jerry Judy's probably your 3. I mean, if we're being honest, if you're a really good team, Jerry Judy's probably not on it. But he's definitely not your 1. So, but yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I just don't know how to. I'll be curious to see what the chat thinks, like expectations wise. I saw a comment here that says all he wants for his birthday is a Browns Super Bowl. You think will happen? I'm like, not this birthday, not this one. So
whose birthday?
Yeah, I forget who the comment was.
It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
So, well, do we want to do a quick commercial, then come back and get into these voicemails?
Yes, let's do that.
This episode is partnered with Koshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Koshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Koshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the draft? Will the Browns make their pick at 6, or will they trade out of that spot? And in other sports, will the Cavs win the NBA Finals? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right?
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, AlumaGuard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
Well, before we get into a voicemail, there's a comment here I want to talk about. He said something about we're not really that bad off, but we're all negative about every guy on the roster as if players can't improve over the offseason. Well, one, we've been Browns fans for our whole lives, so the negativity is warranted. I don't know if you know the Browns' history the last 30 years. But two, it's not like we're talking about rookies. You know, Jerry Jeudy's a vet. I don't expect him to all of a sudden turn into, Jamar Chase over this offseason. Zinter has been in the league now for, 2 years?
2 years, yep.
2 years, can't get on the field. All the guys that were all these linemen, Joel Bitonio, we love him, but he's old. He's probably going to retire. Jack Conklin's not recovering. He's also probably going to retire. I would imagine once they void his contract, he's not going to have many suitors, and he's going to, I would imagine, retire. Wyatt Teller is probably going to get another job. He'll probably get to go. But what I want to know, what player that we're talking negatively about do you think is all of a sudden going to turn around and be really good? Dwan Jones is now going to be going into, year 3 or year 4?
4.
Year 4. Can't stay healthy. No, if we look at the historical data, we're making our predictions based off things that we've seen with these players. Obviously people can improve, but I'm not expecting Jerry Jeudy to show up and just be, Justin Jefferson this year. That's just not going to happen.
Well, Stacy's got a voicemail here about the roster, so let's hear what she has to say.
Hey guys, how's it going? So I just got done watching the roster review episode, and honestly, I'm a little bit worried about the state of this team. That being said, if the Browns do decide to take a defensive player at 6, whether that be a Caleb Downs or a David Bailey, do we feel like we can really be upset? I mean, Grant Delpit is getting older, obviously, and Miles is too. And it just seems like we have a lot more holes on the defense than I might have originally thought. So just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. And then also, I still feel like at 6, we do wide receiver no matter what. But with the holes we have everywhere, I can see the Browns going defense for sure. Devin Bush needs to be signed as soon as possible. I also don't know how you guys feel about it, but I really don't mind a re-sign of Rayshon Jenkins. I feel like he got better kind of as the year went on, so I wouldn't mind that. I am interested to see how free agency goes, and for the love of God, can we please sign Linderbaum? And at least another offensive starting lineman, please. I feel like Andrew Berry, he has a lot of work to do after seeing all these players and becoming free agents at the same time. And honestly, I wouldn't mind this being Andrew Berry's last year, pending what he does. But seriously, how did you let this happen? Everyone on the team's a free agent? Ridiculous. Go Browns.
I think it's 32 expiring contracts right now. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It almost seems planned, hey, the DW thing didn't work, so we're biting the bullet. It's gonna be a total reset. You don't just accidentally have 32 expiring contracts. It's not like, you know what I mean? You could say what you want about his talent evaluation or whatever, but he's not an idiot. It's not like he woke up yesterday and was like, oh, fuck, 30. Oh man, I didn't see that coming. This was planned. Taking defense at number 6. That is the one thing she kind of talked about. I just don't. nothing tells me the Browns are going to go defense at 6. They wanted to find an offensive coach. AB has talked about the offense is going to be what gets a majority of the resources in this offseason. That's what needs the most work. I don't think you can say all that and do all that and then be like, okay, we're taking a defensive player at 6. I think the writing is on the wall. It's either an offensive player at 6 or it's trade back a couple spots and still take an offensive player.
Yeah.
I think that's most likely for sure. But draft night, boy, won't that be something if we're sitting there and they come out and they go defensive line or something.
I'm gonna put this out there in the world now. I will try not to overreact at our pick in our draft in general until the whole draft is done, because I learned my lesson the hard way last year about how upset we got on our live and how upset I was when we first took Carson instead of going offense in the first pick of the second round. And then it's like, oh, at the end of our draft, I was like, man, we freaking killed this draft. But it just wasn't what I was hyping myself up for in that first round, and I just had a meltdown. So I'm going to try my best. I'm putting it out there now. I'm going to react to the entire draft, not the first pick or just one pick here and there. What was another thing she said in there? Linderbaum. I don't think you can start even 4 rookies. Even 3 rookies on your offensive line is a lot. I think you probably got to add a center guard and tackle, and then in free agency, and then you can draft 2 or something along those. I don't think you can start two rookies. If you want to get 2 rookie tackles, if you want to draft a tackle and then like draft a guard and then add a free agent center guard and tackle, and then they can be interspersed in there according to their positions. I just don't think you can put 4 rookies out there, or even 5 rookies. One, good luck hitting on 5 starters, in one draft at one position group. And it's too unlikely. It's just not going to happen. So free agency is going to be, I'm extremely curious what direction they go in free agency once this new year starts and you start hearing some of these rumors about what they're going to be doing.
Yeah. Well, Kenny Mack's actually got a voicemail here about free agency.
Yo, guys, it is Kenny Mack, and big farewell to Wyatt Teller and David Njoku. But I'm surprised people think by reading comments that these are bad moves. While I really appreciate what those guys done, and I sad to see them go. I mean, they weren't good the last 2 years, especially Njoku kind of dropped off a bit. I know his blocking game was great, but man, guys with teams don't last forever, and they've been there for a while. But the big thing I'm calling about is Andrew Barrett and hearing that he's a Magic man and we're going to sign all these people. Guys, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you just swallow that $80 million for DW, get him off the books as fast as possible before this new stadium comes about. And I think we're going to get about $60 million of cap space. That's about it. And you're going to get about 5 to 8 starters out of the mid-tier free agency market, so don't expect anything big. After that, guys, it is literally just the draft, ERFAs, RFAs, and UDFAs, and that's what's going to shape out our team, and I think that's as good as it's going to get. So tell me, guys, what you think, but there's a lot of holes to fill, and there's going to be a lot of young guys, and what I'm hearing right now and what I've put together from the pressers is that they've got Moncton and his crew to develop young guys. Tell me what you think. I'm out.
Let me say this real quick. Kenny, I've been talking to Kenny a little bit over text, and he's very adamant that the Browns should just eat the $80 million cap hit for Deshaun Watson this year. And because everybody else I listen to is saying, well, they're going to restructure him. They can save $30 million, added cap space back by restructuring. So I talked to Jack Duffin, and I just asked him, I said, Jack, are they restructuring Deshaun? Is there any benefit to just taking the $80 million this year and not doing it? He said, no, they have to restructure. He said that would be very stupid to just take the 80. So
here's my
from his
thing.
point, and I trust Jack on that.
I guess here's my thing is, if they restructure, what is that? I don't know enough about this kind of stuff, but like, at what point, like, how far do we get to kick the can down the road? You know, like
2077.
You know what I mean? Like that. I guess that's my thing, and like where I guess Kenny's coming from too is like, at some point, you just got to get rid of him. You know, like you can't just keep especially because he's gonna be healthy. You know, so you can't just keep kicking the can down the road and having him hanging out as a cloud over the organization for 3, 4, 5 more years, however long it is you decide to do this. So I guess I don't know enough about that to sit.
So the big thing, as far as I understand, the $80 million cap hit this year, if they do not restructure that, then they don't set themselves up to be able to take him as a post June 1st cut in 2027 next offseason, which allows them to split his remaining dead cap over 2 seasons. So you would really be screwing yourself this year and next year by not restructuring, because then you can lower those hits this year, next year, and the year after. So
I know we've talked about this too, but do you guys kind of just wish they would just eat this like Denver did and just kind of like just move forward? Because you know what I mean? Like, well,
Justin, did you black out for the last 5 minutes?
That's
what.
That's sorry. I didn't hear that. Well, you know, I'm just that. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, we should do that then, I guess.
No, it was just funny. So basically, Jack Duffin said if we don't restructure him, we'd be dicking ourselves for basically 3 years.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So, and I said,
yes.
You know, how long can we do it for?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for recapping that 5 minutes for me.
We're doing it live.
Thanks for watching the show, Justin.
No problem. No problem. Thanks, guys.
Oh man.
Well, here, let's, the other Justin here, we've got a voicemail about the draft.
Cast, your friendly neighborhood Browns fan out here in Jersey. I hope everyone's feeling better. I know you've been out sick a little bit with the voice. We all went through it out here too, me and my wife and son, so it's not been fun, but finally got it kicked. Spring around the corner. Combine starting on Monday. All good stuff to look forward to. It'll be summer before we know it. Just wanted to chime in here. I've been looking at a few things, and I'm still sticking with it. Want to keep putting my voice out there that I think with our second pick, we still need to go wide receiver. And that pick, which I strongly believe one of these guys will be available. Carnell Tate would be number 1, and Jordan Tyson would be number 2. The guy can just catch the ball, so that should be what our first pick at number 6, and then our second pick in the first round should be a lineman. My order goes Fannin, Freeling out of Georgia, and then Caden Proctor. One of those 3 guys I believe will be available, and if they are, that should be our second pick. I mean, if we can end up with Carnell Tate and Freeling with our second pick in the first round, that would be great. We'd be looking solid going into the second round. Go Browns. Ooh.
I don't think I think we all want receiver at 6. Yep. But really, if the Browns come out of those first 3 picks with some combination of 2 wide receivers, linemen, 2 linemen, wide receiver, and they're all high level, they can't go wrong. Those are clearly I'm almost at you just go wide receiver, lineman, wide receiver, lineman, wide receiver, lineman until the end of the draft. Don't even pick any other. Maybe around 3 or 4, pick a corner. So and just that be your draft strategy. Obviously, I'm a big Carnell Tate fan. I think Jordan Tyson is really, really, really good, but I'm just super nervous about anybody with injury history for the Browns, because if they have injury history, it is going to show up if they come to Cleveland. It's just, I don't know why God hates us, but he does, and if this guy's had a sprained toe in his life and it's never been an issue since, he did it when he was a toddler, he's going to miss half a rookie mini camp with a sprained toe.
That toe is getting sprained.
Yes. So it's just that it just seems like that's, and maybe, maybe I'm being stupid because I'm just a skeptical Browns fan, but if you've been watching this team long enough, you just know that's how it works with this team. Anytime they take a chance with somebody like that, it never works out. So I'm not saying I'm mad if they go Tyson, but it just is scary to me. The Browns fan to me is scared to do that.
I will be nervous if they go Tyson. I'll be happy. I'll be like, yay, we got a really good, high-level prospect at wide receiver, but I'm going to be so freaking nervous.
I'm okay with Tate at 6 also. I really am very excited about Mekhi Lemon. I think Mekhi Lemon, I would be okay with that at 6. Everything I watch on him, man, he is very exciting. I'm excited to see what his measurables are at the combine because he's on the smaller side, but he plays way bigger than that. He's kind of a go-get-it receiver, and then his like route running, like start and stop, all that. He's shifty. He is very, very good.
So it says that Mekhi Lemon is 5'11". He's 5'11", 195 pounds. So he's put together, but the
smaller,
so if he's listed at 5'11" at USC, what is he, 5'9"?
5'10". Yeah.
You know? So it's like my whole life we've had these guys. And again, I'm not saying he's not very good, and I'm not saying if we take him I'd be mad. I just like give me a 6'2" or 6'3" guy who can run routes and go up and catch the ball. You know, again, I don't think they can necessarily go wrong with any of these 3 to maybe top 4 guys, but there's just things about them that scare me with like Tyson and Lemon. Maybe I'm a little bit of an Ohio State homer. There's not much that scares me about Carnell Tate. I guess he did miss a couple games with injury last year. I did feel like they were more precautionary, like the Buckeyes were just kind of steamrolling everybody, and he would have played if, you know, it was an important game. But, you know, they got it. I just want a guy who's like just a dominant wide receiver. And we've talked about this. I don't care that Carnell Tate was never the number 1 wide receiver on his college team. Well, good luck. You know, when your college teams put out guys like Marvin Harrison and Jeremiah Smith and Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson and like, you know, not everybody can be the number 1.
Did it matter in LSU with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase?
Yeah. Or, you know, even Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah.
He seems to be doing okay.
He's all right.
Pros.
JSN's pretty solid. They're all pretty decent.
Think about how
Jackson
overlooked.
Smith and Jigba was the 3.
Yeah.
So wasn't Terry McLaurin was never a top option at Ohio State? He was a good receiver, but he was like the 3rd guy.
Yeah.
You just watch the film, man. Carnell Tate can play.
My biggest thing about Ohio State receivers at this point is, for the most part, you take them to the NFL and they play well.
Yeah.
You know, and like Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave haven't even had good quarterback play in their good.
They're good, yeah.
You know, honestly, the closest thing to a bust so far at wide receiver is probably Marvin Harrison based on expectations.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they were using him, like in any kind of way that is beneficial to his skill set. So because he started to play a little bit better when Jacoby Brissett came in and played. So I don't know, like there's just something about like the Ohio State receivers coming out, just take them. Just don't overthink it. Just turn in the card. And here's the thing I can at least tell this front office. If you take Carnell Tate at 6, all of Ohio is going to be happy. And nobody's going to be mad at you. If he doesn't pan out, nobody's going to hold that against you. That's basically like as risk-free of a pick as you can get, at least in terms of a PR relations. Because there isn't a single person in Ohio probably that is going to be mad that you turned in the card for Carnell Tate. So,
yep. And I hate seeing the stuff where people are like, oh, well, 6 is just too high to take him. The Chiefs should take him at 9. I'm like, what? So 3 picks. If you think he's that good of a player, you damn what number you're at. Just take him. Take the player.
Yeah.
It's not
I don't
really a
care.
reach.
No. We need a receiver, and he's the best one. I don't care if we were taking him at 1. That's your biggest need, and he's the best one. Get him on your team. I don't care what it takes. I don't care. Like that to me that's stupid. Because so much like that draft positioning, that's just all made up for TV, so we have stuff to talk about. Just getting your guys. That's the most important thing. It doesn't matter where you get them. Get them.
I agree.
So we got one more thing I wanted to talk about before we wrap this up. We got 9 minutes or so.
I do have one more voicemail, but we'll.
Oh, go ahead.
You sure you want me to do that quick? I mean, it speaks to what we're talking about here. It's
Hey, boys, it's Adam here in El Paso. Just saw the news about Tyreek Hill being released from the Miami Dolphins. I have to wonder, I know we've talked about drafting wide receivers instead of signing free agents, the amount of money that comes with and all that. But I do wonder, with Tyreek Hill's injury, if that makes him a little bit more available for a cheaper price, maybe a 1-year prove-it deal. Is that some talent that we want to put in our wide receiving core in addition to whatever we draft? You got to wonder with the new coach and his ability to adapt to people's strengths, Tyreek Hill's got a lot of strength. So I know I'd rather have Tyreek Hill on my team than drafting a 5'10" wide receiver out of college personally, because at least I know what I'm going to get with Tyreek Hill. But just want to get you guys' thoughts on, a free agent like that sitting in the market off of an injury-stricken season. Is that a contract that we entertain, or do we just draft and build up our wide receiving core that way? Because we've talked a lot about late draft picks and certain wide receivers from smaller schools, but at least with Tyreek Hill, you know what you're getting, and you can probably get it for a reasonable price. But I want your guys' thoughts on it.
So Tyreek Hill, real quick for everybody, he's 31 years old, and the injury Adam was talking about, left knee dislocation, multiple torn ligaments, including his ACL. That was the end of September.
Nah.
Yeah. So just on this, what I'll say is, like, if you add Tyreek Hill to this roster, yeah, your roster is way better. But also, you are going to pay a crap ton of money. He's gonna want to get paid. The thing is, too, is
I don't think he's getting
31.
paid.
No,
Not something crazy. Like you just said, he's 31, coming off that
coming off a
crazy
bad
injury.
Yep.
I think he goes back to the Chiefs on a team-friendly deal.
I don't think he ends up in Cleveland. You know what I mean? Especially, I don't think he ends up in Cleveland. And then, like, the wide receiver, like, free agents, a lot of old dudes, a lot of guys that don't fit the bill for what we're trying to do.
So 31, he's actually just about to turn 32 in like a week.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get some huge bag based on the age and the injury history, the injury. Plus, I mean, this year and the year before, kind of not been as great.
Sure.
So I don't want to say he's a headache, but there's just always like a little bit of something when you have Tyreek. I think he's a good teammate, but he's also got some off the field things. I think, like, that the Browns maybe don't need to necessarily have to deal with based on other recent signees in the last 5 years, So I would stay clear from Tyreek Hill. But that does kind of segue us into other names I've heard. A.J. Brown. I know Josh is very much out on A.J. Brown. What about you, Justin?
I like A.J. Brown. I think he's very talented. But
I'm out at the proposed cost.
Yeah, which is 22, correct?
24.
Okay.
24.
So
24.
I just feel like we have too many needs. Like, don't get me wrong, you add A.J. Brown, he immediately is your wide receiver one, and you have a safety net for your young quarterback. It's just too many pieces, I think. It's just too – what's the point of having A.J. Brown for 2 or 3 years if you have no offensive line to hold? It won't matter. A.J. Brown will be a decoy on every play, basically, because we'll never be able to get the ball off.
I guess here's my thing is if you're going to pick a wide receiver at 24 – why not just trade that pick for A.J. Brown?
Do you know what his contract is?
Honestly, I don't care.
Okay.
they make the money. I mean, the money, it's like how you know what I mean? Like the money.
That's fair.
Is like the one thing, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way they could ever. I mean, even when we got Deshaun, like the Saints, they can't get Deshaun. They're in cap hell. Like 18 minutes later, they just freed up $800 million to potentially sign Deshaun Watson. So it's like one of those things where if they want him, it'll work in the book somehow. I don't know how it will, but it'll work in the book somehow.
First of all, he's a almost $44 million dead cap hit to the Eagles if they trade him this year. So it's not going to happen. But then he's a $23 million cap hit for the new team this year, then 22 next year, 27 the year after that, 29 the year after that, and 53 5 years from now in 2030 when he wouldn't even be on the team anymore, just his contract. To me, I look at it, I'm like, there's no way from either side.
Based on especially the Eagles probably aren't going to swallow that. I will say this in terms of talent-wise, his dip in production, I think, has a lot more to do with, I think the Eagles' offense is putrid. Like, their offense is like Browns level bad at times, but with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in a top 5 offensive line and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. You know what I mean? Like, there's no excuses for how inept their offense was. I don't think Nick Sirianni is like a good coach at all. I think if they don't play well this year, he'll get fired, despite like a 70% win percentage.
And
And
a
if Nick
Super Bowl.
Sirianni in a Super Bowl, if Nick Sirianni gets fired, will anybody hire him as a head coach?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You saw who got hired this cycle. I'm sure somebody would.
I don't know. I think a lot of people think that he is propped up big time by coordinators, and he's just kind of a tool. I don't know. I'm not saying for sure that Nick Sirianni would immediately get hired if he was fired this coming season. I guess that's my hot take.
Well,
So
even as coordinators, haven't they had a new offensive coordinator every season he's been there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know. At least the last 2 or 3. Because
Yeah, it's like they just that's a revolving door there. They just can't find anybody.
So I think the dip in production has a lot to do with that. I still think he's like a super solid player. To me, it's like I would trade for him if you can make it work monetarily and all that stuff. Depending on what your expectations were for the season as your GM, do you think if you add AJ Brown, do you have the idea and the plan that you're going to add enough pieces to be good this year? If that's the case, then okay, add AJ Brown. If you think you're still 2 years away from being good, 3 years away from being good, then no, you don't add AJ Brown because he's 28 years old. And by the time you're good, he's going to be 31 years old and due for another contract. And then it's like, oh, what do we do? So I guess it all depends on what Andrew Berry thinks the timeline for this team is, and Todd Monken thinks the time. If they think they're going to add enough pieces in free agency in the draft that they're going to compete this year for the division, then I'd have no problem with them trading 24 for AJ Brown. If they think this year is a wash and potentially next year, and we're eyeing 2028, 2029 to be competitive, then I don't think you make that move. It just wouldn't make it. Why have him here for no reason?
Right.
So I just think it depends on what your timeline is.
Yeah, and that's what I think the timeline is. It's a couple years out, and they've already said they're going to get younger. You don't go after a 29-year-old receiver at that kind of cap space, cap hit. If you want to go younger, just get the 20. If you're going to take a wide receiver with 24, take the 21-year-old wide receiver. Maybe it's Denzel Boston. Your big-bodied outside receiver who could become AJ Brown. And by the time you're good, he's 23, 24, hitting that prime stride of a wide receiver career. I'd rather go that route just with the state of this roster and the money. And it's just, we need to actually start getting our own receivers. The only way Andrew Berry's been able to get any production out of that unit is by trading for guys. Please just draft. The good teams, they get their wide receivers in the draft.
No, well, we're not one of those good teams.
No, we're not. I'd like to be one day so Justin can cut his beard.
Oh, no.
Yeah, guys. Justin said he's not cutting his beard until the Browns win the Super Bowl. And I said he's going to be buried with a 6-foot-long beard.
It's a true story. Not doing it.
Full
send.
It'll be an early grave because he'll trip on it going down the stairs and break his neck. 40 years from now.
The
Just one
staircase
before
too.
I die.
Yeah. So, but did we have any more voicemails or are we all done?
Nope, that was it. Thanks, everybody.
Perfect. Look at us. It's like we've done this before. Except for that weird 3 minutes that Justin just zoned out
Checked
and asked
out.
to talk about.
Sorry. Stop. I'm almost 40.
Hey,
all right.
Even
I'm a
the
man.
professionals have a bad moment or two, But well, we appreciate everybody who's been here with us tonight. Everybody who's left voicemails. If you want to leave voicemails on this show, we need them. Keep us entertained during these episodes. We got to keep Justin awake somehow.
Jeez, yeah, sorry.
So if you want to get thoughts on the show, you want to hear your voicemail on the show, head to thedogspodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. If you're nervous about it, like some people get nervous about how that, you can record it, listen to it. If you don't like it, erase it and do it again. You can do it 100 times. Kenny Mack does it 50 times. I think I've been there when he's been doing it. So
Or you can just you can type up a message and send it in there too. It's right beside the option to leave a voicemail.
Yeah. So, but again, we appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with us throughout the off season, and make sure you guys, are subscribed so you don't miss any content that we're putting out about free agency and the draft, all that stuff coming up. So again, we appreciate you being here. We'll see you guys later this week.